Something something Isaac Isaac something something Isaac is Isaac and is Isaac Isaac. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Binding of Isaac Flash, and today we're gonna be playing as Maggie because we've done enough of playing as Blue Baby and enough as Isaac, at least for the last two episodes, which were absolute hits, I think. Yes, they were absolute hits. I can't believe I already forgot about those. Regardless, we are now going to be playing as Maggie. It's been a while since I played Maggie. Still not the biggest fan of playing as her, but she's at least a little bit better, and I can project myself, my astral projection into the future, and I can already feel that the devil deals will be possibly better this time, because apparently for some reason the deal mechanics in this game are completely different, and I still have yet to fully grasp it. I just know that you can't take two hard deals and go down to 0 for some reason, or else you die. For some unknown reason anyway. Okay, yesterday I was doom scrolling again, but then as I was doing so, I suddenly managed to pick myself out after doom scrolling for way too long. I don't know who designed it, but they somehow knew how to figure out to brainwash people really well. So, I'm not sure. I think maybe we will... You know what? We'll take Anarchism, because I think it's a little bit more fun than Yum Heart, even though I think Yum Heart is probably better. I'm just gonna take this as well. Take the pill. I found pills. Okay. Could be worse. But yeah, yesterday I was doom scrolling again, and I somehow managed to find myself on Reddit, because I think I said to myself, you know what? I'm a little bit bored. How about I just go scroll a little bit? It can't be that bad. It was that bad. I ended up scrolling for way past my bedtime, or my rather self-imposed bedtime anyway. And then I ended up... Okay, that was a great use of Anarchist Cookbook. I ended up doom scrolling, and then I somehow found out, getting myself into drama, and then people saying a bunch of things like, oh, this and that and whatnot. And I said to myself, you know what? Maybe that's enough Reddit. Let's go do something else. And the amazing smart idea that I had was to scroll through Twitter instead. And I have still yet to make an official account yet, despite, me scrolling through there. I believe I scrolled pretty much the same amount of time on Twitter as I did on Reddit. And I said to myself, this is stupid. What am I doing? I used to think that I was better than everybody else, thinking that, since I'm not part of the whole culture surrounding Reddit and Twitter, I could tell myself, you know what? I am better than all of those people. I will not succumb to all of this nonsense. And it turns out I am just as gullible as everybody else. And I thought that I was better since I knew the bad side of it. And it turns out, no, I don't. I'm just as much of an idiot as everybody else. Although I will say it does help with knowing what kind of more of the culture is on Twitter, since usually when you're on YouTube, you don't necessarily get the full scope of everybody of what it is they're saying. I'm thinking about using the Emperor. Nah, we don't need to. We'll use the Emperor later. There are much better use cases for this. Because on YouTube, you only get to filter out videos about your specific VTuber that you're watching. Whereas if you go onto Twitter and Reddit, then you have a more curated and more specialized opinions about everybody else, or the opinions of more people. Whereas if you just do YouTube, it is just that one YouTuber over there. I will still hold Emperor, because I would like to get to our specialized rooms instead. So I used to think that I'm better. I'm not, and I have not deleted Reddit yet, and I don't have Twitter unlocked. Although I will attempt to... Okay, I say this, I really hope I do not log on to any more social media anymore. It does help that I don't even have Twitter on my phone, so I can't necessarily login. If I have to like post something, I'm gonna have to go into the web browser. And you know what? I feel like that will be the only way that I can stave off myself from going onto it, while also maintaining the ability to actually use it. In the future, anyway. Pretty good bomb placement. I will actually prevent, or rather, I will hold off of getting these spirit hearts. Okay, there might be two heart heals, so I'm gonna take rotten meat for this. We don't. Okay, well, honestly, this is not the worst deal, and I'd rather have Book of Belial over Anarchist Cookbook, even though they're both pretty good. I would rather have Book of Belial. Plus, I believe it should also still give us the additional benefit of an extra deal chance. Worst case scenario, we'll need to bomb our way into our item room. I hope we don't have to do that. So yeah, that's my experience with doom scrolling a little bit. I have learned the errors of my ways, and will prevent myself from doing so in the future. Okay, with no other keys, the only option left is to just bomb our way into our item room. Unfortunate. And it's the bomb bag, how ironic. Well, actually, that's not that bad, having the actual bomb bag itself, so we don't have to worry about bombs in the future. That's very nice. And I think for this particular floor, we are done. We could do this. Open up this chest, which is iron pills. Or rather, I found pills, my bad. I think that's a meme. I know I Am a Wizard is also a meme, but it's not in this version. It's probably Wrath of the Lamb. I'm also slowly thinking and remembering that Eternal Edition is like more so a difficulty spike, because I don't think it adds any new items. At least as far as I know, it doesn't add any new items. It just changes the champions, and that's about it. And I don't believe hard mode was introduced then. It was for Wrath of the Lamb. Regardless though, we will still play all the versions, and you know what? One of these days I will figure out what Eternal version has to offer. All I know is that Eternal Edition is the worst, considered by many anyway, because the room layout is mostly terrible. But I'm sure, like, you know, it can't be that bad. Well, hopefully anyway, it can't be that bad. Moving on. Luckily, we found our item room and lots of tinted rocks, which is actually very nice for us. I will blow this up for the tinted rock. Gives us a key, gives us in here, which will give us little Chad, who's fine. I'm having deja vu of one of our previous runs where we just have a bunch of red hearts everywhere. Well, really lucky that we have the pentagram, so these rooms aren't necessarily too difficult. I do need to use our Book of Belial a little bit more. I usually have a really bad habit of not using the spacebar item, unless it's a 1 or 2 room charge item. But Book of Belial is 3, so there's almost no reason for me not to. Okay, fight our boss. It is Pestilence. I'm seemingly having a flashback of a previous run. But even if I wanted to, I don't have like the bombs to facilitate the exploit. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Also, I would rather not go down that path again, because that's not that interesting, right? We need the slightest bit of variety, if possible. Also, you can tell when this video is being recorded because of what I'm about to say. And when I was scrolling through Twitter, I saw a a video or like a thread, I guess. I don't know what's the proper terminology. But there was like a thread that said like people are complaining that clippers aren't clipping their Oshis or something like that. And I thought that clipping was, I won't say it's I guess the act of clipping, but then not putting in any subtitles or edits or whatnot. That's simple, but adding in subtitles could be difficult. Even though like I know there are programs out there that utilize like auto captioning, and that's fine. I'm one of those weirdos that are like old-fashioned and like to say, I want my captions to be handcrafted. Those are the only true ones. I'm just gonna pop the world because I would rather keep it. Those are the true captions. You must utilize handcrafted captions. And then like this also kind of extends to my opinions on other kinds of content where I say that, oh, it has to be this way or else it's not authentic because so and so blah blah blah. And then I realized, oh wait, no, I'm the idiot. Or I mean, for one, caring about it so much, and two, for believing that there has to be done in a certain way for things to be good, when that's not the case at all. There's like no one true way something can be done, and there are multiple ways of doing things. Okay, I was gonna choose one, but I realized I can just take both, and we will blow this up and find an item. Oh, 3 seconds, that's fine. Charm of the Vampire, maybe it's not the greatest pickup, but we still have HP, so it's not a completely terrible pickup to get. We do have the map now, which is very nice. No compass, but so be it. If the map is too difficult on the next floor, that's when I would probably pop the Emperor card. No bombs, so we can't bomb into that chest, which is fine. And I guess nothing else, we'll just go down to the next floor. Okay, I will go upwards, because I think this is our boss, I believe. You know what? I'm actually gonna Emperor right now, because that room is a little bit sketchy, and I would like to not lose our really good Devil Deal chance right now. Almost got hit by that one shot. I don't know if you saw that, but I definitely did. Definitely got hit by that again. So I was thinking about my opinion. I feel like I want to close this. Okay, well, there goes our Devil Deal chance because I'm stupid. I was thinking about closing this small chapter or this small arc in my life of hating on a particular kind of content. And then soon oh wow, I actually got a Devil Deal from that. I soon realized that the problem really just lies with how stupid I am and how I approach things. I'm gonna take Lord of the Pit instead of and not take Book of Sin, I believe? Because Lord of the Pit is very nice. But I'm thinking about closing this chapter of my life where I think that, you know... Okay, I'm just gonna say it, because that's also another thing I can talk about. And that is, I don't think that all reaction content is bad. I think there are ways where it can be useful. Because I used to think that, like, it's just theft. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I do know that there are channels out there that are dedicated to reacting to things. And, you know, I do have my gripes about them. But then it also comes down to the first point that I can, like, converge and say is who asked. Like, you can look at a content and you can have your own opinions about it, whether or not that piece of content is necessarily transformative and good or whatnot. Because to me, everything is a... You know, I've also come to this conclusion in the past as well, where I say, you know, everything is a reaction. Me playing this video game, technically speaking, isn't necessarily, like, true transformative. I am taking, like, someone else's content and sort of spinning it and making it my own in a way, unquote. Also, I just realized we're, like the exact opposite direction for our Emperor. With the Emperor card, anyway. So I was thinking, like, you know, who asked? You should hold your opinions to yourself and just say that, you know, it's not your own opinion. It's your own opinion, and you are free to disagree. And you shouldn't really worry too much about the content of other people. You should just focus on what it is that you can do, and that everything, in some way, if you spin it, everything is a reaction to something. So you're not like a messiah for saying that, oh, reaction content is bad because so and so. When in reality, technically speaking, you are making reaction content as well. So, you know, who's to say, like, who's original and whatnot. And then, like, another thing I thought about was, maybe I'm mad not at the reaction itself, but because they're not reacting to things that I like. Now, this sounds really stupid, but I soon realized that I don't watch, like, as much content, or, like, I don't watch enough content that's, like, what other people would watch. And because of that, it's very difficult for me to find other people who will react to the things that I want to see. And it's because of there's like a mismatch of what people are reacting to and what I'm watching, that there's no overlap. And so when people react to certain topics, they're not reacting to the same things that I am, like, keen on looking for. And I'm mostly watching the video itself and not so much the reactor. So in that regard, I come to the conclusion that, you know what, maybe the reaction content is not for me. And I think another point that I can bring up with that, if hold on, I almost lost it. Oh no, this is what happens when I have, like, short-term memory. And another thing that I could also say, like, oh, I don't like the content. Well, the option of not following that person and not watching that particular content is always available. You know, you don't have to watch that particular content, even though, you know, it's being, I won't say force-fed, because obviously I am the one that pushes the button. But more so that I can choose not to engage with that particular content because I choose when I push the button and when I want to watch the video. I can just choose not to. And then another thing as well is, I also found out, well, not necessarily found out, but I was being a hypocrite in that regard, because I say to myself, hey, I don't want to watch reaction content and I don't really want to support that. And yet for some reason I've, like, subscribed to so many of those reactors and commentary channels, and I said, you know what, I think a good idea would be to just disengage and just unsubscribe. And once you know it, it's like, you know, I won't say my life is better, but I've certainly wasted less time. So that's something in that regard anyway. But also, like, I did this a little while before I started recording this video, when I was looking through my, you know, did anybody view my video and whatnot. And then when I looked at it, I realized, like, because this particular channel that I'm recording on is a brand new channel. I mean, I'm sure you can tell with the video length and whatnot. But because it's like a brand new channel, there's no subscription. And also, I'm one of the very few dumb people that have decided to lock their search and their browsing history. So I don't get recommendations, and Shorts can't recommend me new things because it says, hey, we don't actually know what you like, so all we can do is just tell you turn on your history so that we can recommend you things that you might like. And I think I've turned them off since 2021, I believe it's around that time that I turned them off. But before then, I do remember Shorts, like, being not very good, because eventually it just recommends you things that are completely unrelated to the very first video that you're watching. And so, because when I watch, it's completely different. There's no point. Like, why I can keep scrolling, but if it's not recommending me the same things that I want to watch, then there's no, like, my interest in wanting to continue watching it completely, like, depletes and goes away. You know what? Before I go on, the smart decision would be to pick up the red heart. And so I turned off my history, but my subscription box was still like thousands of YouTube channels. Because I had my old account for years. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a decade old at this point, or at least almost a decade. But this new channel has completely like 0 subscriptions, so I don't get to see all of the other things. And then I said to myself, wow, this actually feels really nice to have like a channel that has nothing in it, like with no subscriptions, no alerts that tells me like, hey, this person is live right now, or there's this new video from this particular person. And then if I want to search something, it doesn't pop out like a billion other things, although YouTube does have a suggestion within their searches, so it's not like completely blank, but most of the time it is blank. And I just think like, wow, that's really nice to just have a completely blank slate of having nothing in my inbox to worry about. I also did remember someone saying that if you are gonna to subscribe to numerous creators and you want to see different kinds of things, the best option is to create multiple channels. And when you create multiple channels, what you can do afterwards is you can like curate what it is you want. So you can have one channel that's about gaming, one channel that's about fitness, one channel is about cooking, and then eventually you will have you won't get clustered into so many different types of channels, and then you can like filter out what it is that you want and what you don't. And I don't know why I've never thought about that, but at the same time, I have so many channels subscribed, I don't really want to start doing that. Also, I never thought about making like new accounts for different things. I've always had this belief that if you're gonna stay on the internet, you have to only use one account. And if you are banned from that one account, you cannot make a separate account anymore, which, you know, is kind of stupid in a way for thinking like that. I'm sure there's like some benefit for thinking in that regard though. You know, like saying, hey, you can only have one thing, you get one life, don't screw it up. I think there's at least some merit to doing that. Instead of, you know, saying, oh, I have like free reign to do whatever I want because I can keep making multiple alternative accounts instead of me, you know, owning up to my actions saying, you know what, I'm banned once, I don't have the right to be here anymore. Instead of making a brand new account. That's just how I feel, since I'm too much of a goody little two-shoes, I guess. That's the only way I can describe it. I follow the rules a little bit too much, instead of me owning up to and facing reality and saying, you know, people can just make multiple accounts. It's not necessarily a big deal if you get pulled out of and you get banned for whatever reason. Okay, if I remember, this doesn't work, right? Well, I mean, it kind of worked. I believe if I picked in the opposite direction, it would not work. But this works. We have the pack now, which is way better. Yeah, my opinions about accounts is a little bit weird. I have also seen or heard the news about some new MySpace for VTubers. Something along those lines, but I have my own personal doubts. Not to say like we're gonna get anything too weird about it, but just, you know, I just saw it, thought it was cool. But then I also realized that, oh, we can make our own profiles to be whatever we want, and we can reflect on whatever it is that we desire. And it was through that I found out, I don't know why I only found this out now, that MySpace, technically speaking, still exists, and you can still, like, I think you can still make an account and still make posts on there, which is surprising to me, since I thought MySpace, like, because it quote-unquote died, the whole platform, like, ceases to exist. Which I don't know why I thought that. I guess I correlated the fact that it died with the fact that it doesn't exist anymore. But apparently MySpace still does exist, so that, you know, that VTuber MySpace thing kind of feels redundant now in a way. But, you know, I'm not gonna judge. I probably won't make an account, mostly because I am too lazy to do so. And also, I'm not an entirely creative person. I'm a very creatively bankrupt individual, to be honest. So, if you tasked me with making a profile that reflects me, the most I will give you is my shapes and my text will be a different color. And then everything else will be default as much as possible. Because I kind of also applied that same philosophy, for a lack of a better word. I applied that same philosophy into when I play video games. When I try to play games and then like they give an option to customize your character, I'm the boring one that says I would prefer if everything just stays default as much as possible and don't really want to experiment with different skins, different looks and whatnot. I'm just like, I want the default. If the default's nice, then I don't really care. Which makes me like the worst customer in the modern days. I'm fairly certain most people are just hardwired into skins now and making yourself look good. But I'm like, the default's nice. Why would you want to do anything else? But I also recognize that that's not necessarily a novel opinion. Oh, you're so brave for saying that. No, it's a very boring, very basic opinion. But I think I'm at least glad that I hold that opinion, so I don't have to worry about buying skins for no reason whatsoever. So most of the time I will play with defaults, even with like an option. I guarantee you that if for some reason, when I get my VTuber model and then like I get modded into a game or something of the sort, I will definitely still just play the defaults. I will not pick unique skins or whatnot, unless of course like it's supposed to be like a bundle that you buy, then you have multiple skins for different characters, and then those skins like match up and whatnot. Then I guess yeah, if I believe that the skin looks good enough. But if it doesn't, then I will probably not bother with the skins all that much. Yeah, I might need to lock in for this particular boss. Things like that. Also, with like very little HP, this will go terribly wrong. Maybe picking up 9 lives isn't exactly the smartest move on my part. But with the battery, I mean, I'm guessing 4.5 volts is the item, and I guess jumper cables as well. We can beat Mom rather easily. I don't actually know how we beat her that quickly. But luckily as well, we have the compass and the map. So we should have no issues finding our way around and just beelining straight to the boss. There's no reason to go into the other rooms. I actually don't remember the secret room pool. I know there's My Little Unicorn and One Up Mushroom, but I don't see a reason to really pick up any more money and whatnot. Maybe there's a devil deal with money equals power, but even so, there's not a real need to pick up money anymore. You know what really hit the spot though is Ouija board. It would really hit the spot, so we don't have to deal with all these rocks. I'm gonna take Devil because it can be a replacement for our Book of Belial. I almost had it. I thought I had it too. Oh well. I think it would be best to deal with like these little Diglets, even though our damage is severely lacking. So I will just use this now. I should have used this a long time ago. Being only one hit away from death is always a tricky thing. Oh, I just remembered as well that when I eventually get to Rebirth, I'll have to play as the Lost with 0 Holy Mantle. So you will see me die a lot in those runs. Oh. This is actually really bad. I think this run is... okay, it's not as bad as I could make it out to be. I'm just being a fool when it comes to my positioning. And and also with the enemies that spawn. I hope this is not the end. This cannot be the end. This is such a great run. I refuse to let it die this easily. It's like our individual tiers aren't doing enough damage. Also, I'm not sure if I should focus on the hosts, because the host might also be the main issue instead of like the little diglets. Come on, I mean, with like a spoon bender, we should not be losing this easily to enemies. I have no idea what I'm actually gonna do for the Satan fight, because that one will definitely be a doozy. I will play you. Hopefully you'll give us something useful like a HP up. Come on, baby. You're like my last lifeline. Maybe not supposed to pick that up just yet, but I would rather pick it up now, so we can at least survive Skull X. Skull X should not be a difficult fight. We get some HP, and our Devil Deal has... Ooh, go back down to 1 HP or keep going. Okay, I think you take this, and then you take this, and then you die, and that's fine. We're down on our final life, which a little bit spicy, and also I just realized that I should have picked the Mark first instead of Brimstone, because it gives us a Spirit Heart, which I thought was a new addition to Isaac and not actually all the way back in Flash. I don't recall it giving one in Rebirth. I do know that it does in Repentance, just not in Flash. Oh well. Such is the way of life now that I know. Otherwise, Spirit Heart. Well... You play with fire and ye get burned. Oh well. I mean, I don't really know much else to say. I did lose too many lives at those diglets and the host, but oh well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.